It's Bob and Tom Tonight, starring Chick McGee, Christy Lee, Josh Arnold, and Tom Griswold. And now, here's Tom.
Bob and Tom.
Welcome back to the Bob and Tom Show. We are worldwide on American Forces Radio, coast to coast on great radio stations like this one. Happy to be here. We've just been joined by Kevin Nealon, comedian, who apparently got the memo that it was flannel shirt day.
Oh, yeah.
Now I feel bad that I'm the only one not wearing one.
You got one? Yeah,
Not
put it
bringing
on.
it up again.
Just put it on.
Christy brought it in, and
Look how he picks it up.
Oh, he can't take it. He picks it up like he's holding a diaper. Like
It's a
used
brand new
diaper.
shirt. I washed it.
That's
to
not a
make
very big shirt. It looks like it's a child's small.
It's an extra large.
it has one pocket, so I'm out.
Rip off a sleeve for me.
Okay, that's the voice of Alex Cumin. Kevin Nealon has just joined us.
Give me that shirt back.
Distinguished.
I am so excited to be here, Tom. I was outside watching you guys on the feed, and I said the same thing. It must be flannel shirt day because I got mine on too.
Was that just by chance?
And you know what the hotel I'm staying at? There's a hunters convention, so everyone's got flannel and camouflage. It's camouflage flannel shirts.
That's a nice shirt.
Yeah.
Wow. Good to see you, Kevin. Long time no see. We've
my
talked to you many
gosh.
times since
Yeah.
you were on this program way before you were on Saturday Night Live. I don't even know
That's
if you
right.
remember that.
That's right.
Back in the
before
day.
I went to middle school, I was on this show.
Oh, yeah.
You and I are the exact same age.
Oh, okay.
Nothing will be revealed.
This radio station, I mean, you guys are all over. I know you're worldwide on the Armed Forces Network, but you're also everywhere in the United States, too.
Lots of places. Happy to be there. And you're on the TV all the time.
I'm on the TV, yeah.
And Man with a Plan is back.
It's back in February, 4th season. It's a show on CBS with Matt LeBlanc.
Yeah. Do you know Tommy Jonigan, our friend?
Tommy, I love Tommy. He just did my show the other night. I do a show at the Laugh Factory once a month in LA. It's called New Material Night.
Oh, no. Tommy's doing stand-up again?
Oh, God.
He took a few years off to write.
Yes.
On the show I'm on. And creating other shows, and now he's going back into stand-up. He's really good.
Oh, he's one of the best.
Yeah, we've known him as a stand-up for many years.
Yeah.
Since he was a baby.
He's a little baby comedian.
Baby comedian.
Yeah. In fact, the reason I'm on the show I'm on now is because of Tommy.
Really?
Tommy wrote a pilot a couple of years ago. I forget the name of it, but believe it or not, I played his father. Can you believe that? It should be the other way around. But so we all, we had a good time doing it, and Tommy played the lead, and the show didn't get picked up, but CBS saw Tommy and liked his writing, and also they liked me from that show. So when this Matt LeBlanc show came along, they remembered me, and they said, "Yeah, let's bring him in." So I had to do a chemistry read with Matt LeBlanc, and I came right from the dentist.
Oh.
From that. So half of my face was numb, but I had to be there. So by the time I get there, I've kind of crammed the lines into my head, and I'm in a side room, where the producers are, off to the side, and Matt LeBlanc comes in. I've never met him before. It's Joey.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's Tribbiani. And he comes in and he goes, "Hey, how you doing?" And I say, "Oh, that's that line."
He was hitting on you.
He goes,
How you doing?
"Yeah, right. How you doing?" I found out since then he doesn't like that at all.
Oh.
You don't bring that up with him.
It's like saying dynamite to the wrong guy.
Well, one day we had a little face-off where I kept going, "How you doing?" to him, and he kept going, "We want to pump you up."
There you go.
Yeah.
So I do the chemistry. We do a run through with him, and we're doing our lines. And then he leaves and he goes into the other room. And he told me later, the producers asked him, they said, "How did he do? How was he?" He goes, "He's pretty good, but I think he might have had a stroke because from the Novocaine."
Oh.
Wow.
I just come from the dentist, so
What is the
right through
classic?
show.
Is it 10? Is that the movie where
10.
Dudley Moore's been to the dentist and
Oh yeah.
there's that great scene he's trying
Bo
to
Derek.
Yeah, with Bo Derek, and he's like drinking tea or something, and it's hotter, and so his whole face is
Yeah.
I had that happen to me recently, and
Do you know what, Tom? You mentioned 10, and I would say 75% of the country now has never heard of that movie.
oh sure,
Oh, yeah.
I can top that.
I think that's
Second
way
time
low.
Oh, here we go.
I can top that. Today we had a sad death in the
Why would you want to top that?
because Kevin and I are the same age. So when he was a 5-year-old boy, he probably was listening and watching this TV show.
77 Sunset Strip.
Remember that?
I sure do, man.
As a little kid.
Yeah, there was a lot of Brill cream in that hair.
Yeah, kooky, and there was the song
That's a
Kooky.
crazy finger snap, too.
It is
Yeah,
good.
it is.
Holy hell.
They got the same guy that did the Addams Family. Yeah.
First call, finger
He was a
snapper.
session snapper. Yeah.
That guy was in big demand back then.
Yeah.
You know, the-
Theodore Thumbs Johnson.
The funny thing
Big
is,
Teddy.
it probably was the same guy.
Probably.
Because there's a small group of people that do that stuff. Yeah, the Kooky, Ed Burns, EDD, not Ed Burns, the younger filmmaker.
That's right.
Right.
Often confused.
Yeah. Well, no.
Never confused.
Never confused.
Yeah, because as you pointed out, it's like mentioning Bo Derek and 10. It's just gone. That was kind of a cultural milestone, and then
That's iconic, her on the beach there or whatever.
Yeah.
but it's pretty much gone away. I think Kevin is right.
That
on
braided
Yeah,
hair that everybody got in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
You saw that for years after.
You know, I live in Los Angeles, and I've never looked for 77 Sunset Strip. I wonder if there is an address there.
Oh.
I need to know where to leave flowers.
Well, every once in a while, something will happen. We had a story a couple days ago. In the Bronx, the stairway used in Joker
Yeah.
is now being inundated by fans.
Really?
I'm sure 70 years ago, whatever it was, or 60 years ago, they were taking pictures at 77 Sunset Strip.
More inundated, though, than the Exorcist staircase in Georgetown?
They
Yeah.
mentioned that in the
That
article.
was- yeah,
I wonder
people do go
which one
there.
is more famous.
And the Rocky
Yes.
statue.
Yes.
Those are sort of the iconic.
And also there's staircases in L.A. and Los Feliz where I think it was Abbott and Costello?
Oh, the famous piano.
Oh, the piano,
Yeah,
the
the piano.
music box. Yeah.
Who was that?
Laurel and Hardy.
Laurel and Hardy, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of
love to
famous
see that.
staircases out there, but no famous escalators.
No, there sure aren't. Yeah.
Except for maybe Miracle on 34th Street at Macy's.
Is that an escalator?
It was a wooden escalator. I think.
Yeah, God, I haven't seen one of those in a while. Those are cool.
Yeah. But you don't want to get stuck on one of those.
Oh, man. You stand there for hours.
Oh, God. Yeah. The wood becomes petrified.
Yeah.
How did they get you down from there?
It's a very.
I don't.
Kevin Nealon
Tough
is our
situation.
guest. When you made the transition from being a stand-up and then you were on Saturday Night Live, for example, when you would do the weekend update, because you did that for several years, did you sit in the writer's room with everybody, or how did that work?
First of all, when you made the transition, I got scared for a minute.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Formerly got me confused.
Formerly Alice Nealon.
You're thinking of EDD. Well, here's what happened, Tom. That's a good question. The writers typically didn't like to write for Weekend Update because it wasn't glorifying. You know, nobody on Monday around the water cooler would say, hey, man, who wrote that Clinton joke? You know, that was a great joke. They wanted to write characters and have really, good sketches. So I would send out alerts to my friends. If anybody has a joke for Weekend Update, people that weren't even on the staff, I'll pay them $50 out of my own pocket for the joke. And I was also writing, looking at the papers. And you couldn't look at the papers until like Saturday morning because all the late night talk shows and morning radio people had covered everything that was going on in the news. They
Right.
made all the jokes about it. So eventually, Lorne Michaels hired a writer for me. And also before that, they put out a breakfast up in the writer's wing of 30 Rock on the 17th floor to try to entice writers to come to write Weekend Update. So they had a hot breakfast catered, and they had newspapers all over the big table like this, and AP photos, because there was no Google back then. This is back in the 1900s. You understand what I'm saying? And so the only people that would come up to write would be Al Franken. Norm Macdonald would come up because he just wanted to read the paper and have breakfast, but he wouldn't write anything. And a few of the newer writers. So that didn't really work. So the answer is no, I wouldn't get into a room with a lot of writers.
But you had to come up with a bunch of stuff yourself.
Yeah, I came up with a lot of stuff myself too.
That's still one of the great formats of all time.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
The newscaster at the desk.
Yeah.
And I think they've really done a great job of maintaining really strong people doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's such a diverse, eclectic group of people that have done it. You know, everyone from the original Chevy Chase, who I kind of emulated my Weekend Update character after, to Jane Curtin, to, Tina, and all the other people, Colin Quinn, Dennis. Dennis was a big mainstay there.
Yeah, I loved it when Dennis Miller did it. There's something about him that just...
It's kind of nice, too, when the Weekend Update person doesn't do sketches as well, which is what I was doing. I was doing both sketches and the Weekend Update. So it was kind of unnerving. You know, after the dress show, I would go to the segment producer, and I would tell him which jokes that I wanted to keep in. And he was also a writer, so he liked to keep his jokes in.
Oh.
So I had so much other stuff going on. I was doing sketches and, learning lines. And so when I do the live version of the Weekend Update, I would do it all. And then I go home, and the next morning I'd be laying in bed, and then he didn't take that joke out. I said to take that joke out. But he knew I was so, distracted by other things that I couldn't really focus that much on it.
So welcome back. We return to you with a lot of flannel shirts in the room. Ace has one on. Ace, of course, is our engineer.
Hello, friends.
Good to see you, Ace. Do you think we could grace Mr. Nealon with an Ace Cosby joke of the day? Do we have one? Okay, we have one in the quiver. Okay, good. The man, he needs some guidance. Chick McGee across the way at the Sports Desk. We're going to do a special edition of the Shoein' of the Week, and I think we'll have more information about that in just a second. Comedian Kevin Nealon has joined us in the studio, a veteran of television and the movies, et cetera, et cetera. Comedian Alex Cumin with the greatest female voice I've heard in ages. There you go. Just give us a little... There you go. Well, that's enough. That's very sexy. Let's see. There's Josh Arnold. I'm trying to do two things at once. That's Christy Lee. We're setting up our granny for the Shoein' of the Week. As a matter of fact, the way this works is Chick McGee makes his sports picks against a grandmother every week.
Or against someone in the studio, I think, is what we're trying to... I don't know.
We do have a grandmother on the phone. I've just been told.
Well, let's go to the phone.
That's why I was somewhat distracted.
Say hello to our grandmother.
Is Jane? Is this you, Jane?
Yes, it is.
Oh, good. So great talking to you, Jane. I don't know if you're familiar with what we're doing here, but you get to do some sports. But do you follow the NFL at all, Jane?
Yes, I do.
Oh, good.
Yes, I do.
That'll make it very good. You'll be doing your sports picks against Chick McGee here.
Okay.
Yeah, the grandmas are way ahead this year. So far ahead that we've omitted your record.
Oh my God.
Now, Jane, it's my understanding that you love to gamble. Is that true?
Yes, I do.
Are you familiar with the point spread?
Yeah.
Would you consider yourself a degenerate gambler or just casual?
Probably a degenerate.
All right, fair enough.
Good. Well, this is everything we need in a grandmother.
Know thyself. There we go.
Chick, go for it. What are the games and who are you picking?
Green Bay hosting Seattle. The Seahawks getting 4 at Lambeau. Who do you like, the Packers or the Seahawks?
Green Bay.
Green Bay to cover. Okay, I like Green Bay to win, but I think it's going to be like a field goal. So I'm going to take Seattle plus the 4, Tom.
Okay.
All right. Minnesota and San Francisco and Santa Clara. The Vikings getting 7. Who do you like? The 49ers or the Minnesota Vikings?
Oh, that's a tough one.
I know it.
I'm going to go with the 49ers.
Yep, I agree with Grandma on that one. I'd take San Francisco minus the 7. Kansas City Chiefs hosting the Houston Texans. Houston getting 10. Who do you like? Houston, Kansas City.
I'm going with Kansas City.
Okay, I think Kansas City's going to win, but I think it's going to be closer than that. I'll take Houston plus the 10.
Yeah.
All right.
And double shock that one for
times 2. Doubling is very
and
bold.
the Baltimore Ravens, they're on fire. But what happens if that quarterback gets dinged up? Well, we might find out. Baltimore hosting Tennessee and Derrick Henry. The Titans are getting 10. Who do you like, Tennessee or Baltimore?
I'm going with Baltimore.
Yeah, well, you're wrong, Grandma. I like Tennessee plus the 10, and that is also a double shock, John.
Very bold.
Very bold.
Right.
Very bold.
Very bold move.
I
a lot
don't
of NFL
care.
action. Do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite team, Jane?
Well, being from Indiana, Indianapolis Colts, I guess, but they've been struggling. So
yes, they will not be featured in.
I don't see them here on the
list. No.
Nope.
Maybe Tom Brady, the quarterback next year. What do you think about that?
I don't know. I've been reading a lot about that.
I know.
So I don't know what to think.
There's no way.
That's wrong.
I don't know.
Boy, oh boy, you guys know nothing.
Yeah, right.
It could happen.
Jane, in your gambling career,
could.
would you say you're about even in terms of wins and losses?
Lifetime?
Yeah.
Probably.
Okay.
Probably.
Let's see how.
You ever had your knees broken by an angry bookie? Or
when you win a gambling bet, do you say, "Hey, I won that," or do you say, "Hey, I could have won more"?
Had I put
more down?
I would say I won that, or I
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. See, you're not as far going as I am. So that's
just the first.
That's good. That's
Jane, are you familiar with the late recording artist Lou Reed? Had the great.
I'm not real familiar with it.
Had the great song.
Grandma's not familiar with Lou Reed.
Had the great song "Sweet Jane."
Sure,
okay,
it's a great song.
Maybe you know the song "Walk on the Wild Side."
Oh,
where the ladies go do 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 do.
Yeah, right.
The ladies?
Well, I'm just trying to be politically correct. I'm not in today's realm of things. So, well, Jane, thank you so much, Jane. I hope we didn't take you away from anything important. But these.
No, that's fine.
Okay, good. Good. I'm not sure.
Thank you for calling me.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Thank you for answering.
Do you know who put you up to this?
Pardon me?
Do you know which member of your family put you up to this?
It'd be my grandson, Nick, I guess.
Nick?
That's what they told me.
Oh.
Yeah, Nick Brody.
Yeah, he's a handsome boy. We saw his mugshot.
Well, on that note,
Nick, yeah.
On that note, we'll
Hold
just
it.
leave.
Jane, do you play dice every Tuesday at the Elks? Is that what's happening?
Yes, I do. How can I do that?
Jane,
She's got a problem.
yeah, we may have a phone number for you.
Holy moly.
Wow.
Get used to hearing several people
All
say,
right.
"Hi, Jane."
You ever sold plasma, Jane?
You like Texas Hold'em at the family gatherings? Is that right?
Wow.
I like to play cards, yeah. I like to play poker.
She's an innocent.
On the river, baby.
She's a ringer.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jane. Have a great weekend.
Yes, Jane.
Yeah, you too. Thank you very much.
Okay. With us in the studio, we have Alex Kuman and we have Kevin Nealon. I wanted to ask Kevin a question about your career. You were on the Tonight Show when you were in your 20s, right? Pretty much. Let me think here.
30s, early 30s.
Were you early 30s? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But when you did that, you'd been doing stand-up, I guess, for 6 years? Is that
Yeah,
right?
about 6 years. Yeah.
Do you remember the first joke you did on the Tonight Show?
I don't remember what it was.
It was like 84, 85.
That doesn't help.
I'm giving you time to think.
Yeah, but I will tell you, I almost forgot my whole act while I was waiting to come out. You know, they're coming back from the commercial, and Johnny introduces me, and the curtains open up, the band's playing, the crowd's going crazy, and as I'm walking out to my spot, totally blanked out.
Oh, man.
Totally blanked out, and I'm standing there not knowing my act, the opening line, and by the time the last clap was finished, it came to me, thank God.
Oh, boy.
They don't put it on cue cards?
Not then, no.
Wow.
Now they do bullet points by the camera and stuff if you want it, but back then, yeah, I didn't even have notes in my pocket.
Oh,
I knew 3 days before when I was going to do it for the first time. They told me that I'd passed and they would take me on there. So from the minute they said you're doing it on Monday or whatever the day was, all I did was go over my act in my head, my 5-minute act, all day long. I could be talking to you now. You think I'd be listening to you, but really I'm doing my act in my head, you know? And then I forgot it when I came out.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then I did remember it, and then it was just a thrill, man. I remember standing out there, doing my act, and hearing the laughs. It was kind of echoey in the distance. I could hear it because I was so inside my head, and there were applause breaks. I could hear Johnny laughing.
That had to have been amazing.
Oh, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm on the Tonight Show.
Yeah.
And they like me.
And he likes you.
And he likes me. And he invited me over for a panel afterwards. It was like a dream. Nothing has ever surpassed that in my career. Saturday Night Live or Weeds, any of that stuff. Nothing gave me that thrill like that first. And I don't know if there's any shows like that now, because that was really the only game back then, right? It was just the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson at night. And now there's, of course, all these other shows.
you don't get that thrill with us?
No, I'm talking late night.
Mornings. This is the one.
I'm going to talk mornings. Yeah, I can't even think straight right now.
Forgot your act.
So maybe later this afternoon it'll come to you. Go, wait a minute, my first joke was. Oh, there it goes.
Yeah.
So you'd been working on that set of what is it? 5 minutes, 6 minutes for
5 minutes, 6 minutes. Yeah. It was a bit I used to do. I don't remember the first joke, but the basic bit was, would you rather? I mean, this was, back in '84, before the board game and all that stuff. It was a thing I remember doing as a kid. Would you rather be buried up to your neck in dirt and have somebody paint your head like a soccer ball and then have some Brazilian kids start hanging around? Or would you rather, oh gosh, I don't know, Oh, let's say get your finger slammed in a car door and have the guy drive away through a car wash. And then they would answer, and then I would say, why? Yeah, me too. Because, they might use hot wax at the car wash. right. So I did that, and that was like my big thing back then. And he liked that. Carson liked that last week. Brought him back again and again. And then I don't remember. Some people remember like Tom Dreesen remembers how many he did and all that. I don't have any recollection of how many I did with Johnny. I did a lot of guest hosts. I think I did maybe 3 or 4 with Johnny, and then I think he cut me loose because during a Christmas holiday, I came on and my opening joke was, this is the joke I remember, I'm getting ready for the holidays. I've been doing a lot of drinking and driving. And the talent coordinator calls me later that night. He goes, what was with that opening joke? We didn't go over. I said, yeah, that's always been part of my act. That's, he wasn't paying attention. I didn't know that Johnny had a DUI and he had gotten into some serious problems with drinking. Oh. And I know, so I don't think I did it again after that. And they garbled that whole joke when it came out. I watched it on TV. I came out and I go, hey, how you doing? I'm getting ready for the holidays. I'm doing that dream driving.
Oh, man.
Wow.
I said, what did I say? What did I say?
That's interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah, I did not know that.
How did the Saturday Night Live thing happen?
Well, the story with that is, I've been friends with Dana Carvey for a long time, before he was on SNL. And he was selected to be on that show for that coming fall. And I was excited for him. I was reading Backstage Live. I was dating Jan Hooks at the time. And I was good friends with Dana. And I was excited that I knew somebody that was going to be on SNL. And he goes to New York. And 2 weeks later, out of the blue, I get a call from him. He goes, hey, Kev, I'm out at Lorne Michaels' house in Long Island. I'm in the back bedroom. Guess who's in the kitchen? Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd. I said, you're kidding me. He goes, no. Anyway, Lorne Michaels is looking for one more cast member. I told him about you. You might want to see your audition tapes. I said, Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd are in the kitchen? I wasn't even hearing the other stuff, because I knew I wouldn't get on that show. Because I don't do characters or impressions or accents or things like that. I'm just a stand-up, a really good stand-up. No, it's true. So I send him my tapes, and 2 weeks later, I get another call from Dana. Kev, I'm back out at Lorne Michaels' house. I'm in the back bedroom. Guess who's in the kitchen? Steve Martin. No way. Yeah. Anyway, good news. Lorne liked your tapes. I think they're going to fly you in for an audition. I said, Steve Martin's in the kitchen? I wouldn't believe it. I didn't want to be let down. But I fly into New York. I'm going to show up. I go to 30 Rockefeller Plaza where they tape the show, and I go up to Studio 8H. I walk in there. I immediately get really tired because I used to fall asleep watching that show. It was an association thing. And I do my little audition, and then I leave. And 2 weeks later, I find myself sitting in a high-rise in Beverly Hills across from Lorne Michaels. He's offering me a job on SNL.
Man, oh, man.
I said, let me think about it, Lorne, over the weekend. That's the way I roll. Yeah. How do you think I ended up in Indianapolis? He said, well, you think about it over the weekend. We'll see you in New York on Monday. Next thing I know, I'm at Lorne Michaels' house in Long Island. I got a call from Dana. He goes, Kev, I'm at Lorne Michaels' house. I'm in the back bedroom. Guess who's in the kitchen? I said, I'm in the kitchen now. I'm in the kitchen.
So you had never done any acting or anything like that? It was strictly stand-up?
I had done commercials and a couple of guest stars, like on various TV shows, like 77 Sunset Strip.
Yes.
Shows like that.
Wow. Did you don't take this the wrong way, did you end up taking acting lessons?
Oh, I had like acting lessons.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so
because when I first got into stand-up, I was at the Improv a lot, and one of the co-owners at the time, Mark Lanow, sat up next to me at the bar one night. I also bartended there for a couple of years. He said, do you ever think about taking acting lessons? Because as a stand-up, you have a lot of casting people that come in, and they want you to come in and do cold readings and try out for their show. I said, never thought about that, because all I wanted to do was stand-up. So I started taking acting classes. He told me that because he was teaching a class.
Oh.
But so I started taking, for years, I took acting workshops around LA, and they were very helpful. So, but for that show, you don't really need acting classes. More of an improv background would be better, like at the Groundlings or Second City.
Yeah. I know that Tiger Woods still has a swing coach, if you will.
By the way, also a very funny comic, Tiger Woods.
Yes. Yeah,
do you ever take, if you're doing a role, do you have someone like a coach that comes in and helps you out, or does the director do that? How does that work?
It varies, I don't know that I would have a coach unless it was for a role where I had to do an accent, or something that was a really complicated role.
Do you do any accents?
Yeah, I do Liverpool. Tom, the funny thing
Beatles
is that I don't really do accents or impressions, but whenever there's a table read at Saturday Night Live and it had to be an English accent, everybody around the whole table, Phil Hartman did a great South Manchester accent or whatever, they had it pinpointed. Jan Hook's great. Everybody did a great accent. And it got to me, all I could do was like John Lennon. That's good. I think we should do it. Yeah, that sounds good to me. And the place would just start laughing.
That works for me.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. What was the first thing you bought when you became successful? Because you were bartending, you were hustling around town, working as a young stand-up. You hadn't been on the Tonight Show yet, but when you finally had some extra money, did you buy a better car? What did you?
Well, what I wish I bought was long-term health care. But what I did get was I got a new Saab.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was a turbo-powered Saab. And I remember Jerry Seinfeld at the time was into Saabs. He had a lot of Saabs. So we would always talk about the Saab and all that. But I deserved that car because before that, my first car was a Datsun B210.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
And it was the color of an ace bandage because that's all they had on the lot. And
attractive.
And my manager talked me into getting it without a radio because it would be cheaper and without AC. The worst management decision ever. And I remember going on a date one night. I picked up this girl I was really, really excited about. And she was so disappointed I didn't have a radio in the car. And I got one more date out of that. But the next time I cut out a Blaupunkt radio from a magazine and I taped it to the desk. I said, I got a radio.
I remember those. We have, let's see, a special guest in the studio or two. How about that? He's Ace Cosby, the fine engineer and proprietor of the Ace Cosby Joke of the Day. And I promised Mr. Nealon we'd get to this, so we will in just a second. There's Chick McGee across the way. He made his sports picks. We'll have those on the various Bob and Tom social media platforms. There's Josh. There's Christy. That is the lovely Alex Kuman, comedian. And Kevin Nealon is here with us, a veteran actor and comedian. And Kevin, you probably look at Ace and go, I know he's your engineer, but can he tell a story? And of course, this is more informational than a joke, Ace.
More informational.
Okay, it's informational. Right. Okay, go ahead.
Now, a lot of folks don't know this. All fortune tellers wear the same size clothing.
Oh, really?
Medium.
Of course.
See how that works.
Was that a Cosby joke?
Yeah, it's Ace Cosby. Yeah.
Today's Cosby joke, yeah.
The nice Cosby.
Are you like me, Tom? Do you ever stop and think, how are these people doing in jail? Like Michael Cohen and Bill Cosby. You ever think, what's their day like right now?
Oh, yeah, well, a lot of them used to listen to this show.
Oh, really?
Because a lot of them are in one of the
Fine
federal one of the federal prisons.
Yeah.
Is within our sphere of listeners, and yes, we.
Have you been able to decipher fan mail coming from a prison?
Oh, they have a special thing.
Yeah, it's quite out. Yeah,
you kind of know.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah.
They write on a little piece of shred of paper because they only give them so much paper, I think. Mr. Nealon, I'm a big fan of yours. Always been. Christmas coming up. Can I get 5 autographed copies, pictures for my children? Same letter all the time from different prisoners.
Oh.
I guess that's their way of kind of getting it and then selling it on eBay or something. I could be wrong, though, and that would be sad.
You got to find someone with the same name to match them up. And sell them on Mercari, as we mentioned. As we mentioned earlier. I heard you tell a story, and I think we have time for this. There was the famous, was it the 40th anniversary of SNL?
Yeah.
And the story involved your cell phone. Am I getting this right?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember
so,
that?
So I go to the 40th anniversary, which is, 4 or 5 years ago. And the after party's at the Plaza Hotel. And I remember standing in the hallway, first of all. Trump passes me with Melania. This is before he was president. And I know him because he used to, do stuff on SNL. And I've interviewed him before. And I see him. I go, hey, Trump. And he turns, he sees me with my wife. And he looks my wife up and down. He goes, you did all right for yourself, Nealon. And my wife the whole time is saying, that pig. So I go into the main room, the ballroom. But right outside the ballroom, Peyton Manning is there. So I'm standing talking to Peyton, and I thought, I wasn't a fan of Denver, of the Broncos, but I appreciate him. I think he's a good quarterback. And so I'm talking to him for a while. And I say at the end, I say, hey, do you mind if we get a selfie or do a picture? Because I know my son would like to see me with Peyton Manning. So he goes, sure. So he gives the camera to somebody, a cell phone. They take our picture. He takes the phone, hands it to his brother Eli, and says, Eli, check out this picture. Is it okay? And he looks at it. He goes, yeah. Half hour later, I check my phone. It's all in Chinese font. I can't figure out anything. I can't even figure out how to get out of it because it's all Chinese. I had to go up to, I think it was Emma Thompson. Is that her name? Emma? I don't know. Watson. I don't know. One of the actors. And I said, can I see your phone just so I could get out of it? I couldn't get out of it. So I walk into the ballroom later, and Peyton Manning, he's towering over everybody. He sees me. He goes, hey, Nealon, how's your phone? And then I find Eli, and I go up to him. I say, put this back to the way it was. I hate the Giants, man. I hate the Giants. He smiled. He put it back. But that's a prank that they do, I guess, to a lot of people.
That's a classic. I mean, I guess it did. Once you know
you out.
Yeah.
You would not know what
you'd
to
lose
do.
your mind.
Yeah.
Well, Nick Griffin and I, Nick, the great comedian?
Yeah.
Nick and I were in the Bahamas, and if you remember this, we were all down there doing a show, and we were all in the gym, and my phone somehow got shifted over to some Asian language. Remember this? And I had to go down. I had to go down, and I don't know what I'd done wrong. And I found another person with the exact same phone, and I managed to match up until I was able to finally get it back to English. But you could have had to go to a Chinese restaurant and say, can you help me out here?
I had my phone on the side of the tub the other night, and I knocked it off and it slid into the tub. I thought, it just slid down into the tub. I went to get it. The tub was full of water. My wife had taken a bath earlier, and she likes to leave the water in the tub.
Sure, who doesn't?
Feels right.
Yeah, in case we want tea later or something. And my phone was sitting on the bottom of the tub, covered with water. It was in the water, like 2 feet deep water. And I pulled it out really fast. And it still works. So I guess they're waterproof now. People tell me, you can take them underwater and take pictures and stuff.
Incredible.
No, seriously, try it.
You're not going to get me, Nealon.
Watch the entire show live or on demand with the Bob and Tom VIP All Access Pass. Listen live with the Bob and Tom app, and make sure to visit bobandtomstore.com. Tune in next time for more Bob and Tom Tonight.